Alright, good morning. I had a good night sleep. I had an extra hour from daylight savings, which is pretty cool. I'm going to spend a good amount of time just playing board games with friends today, so there's not going to be much interesting content, but I wanted to show you some cool San Francisco things. So over here, we're by the Safeway. This is near Civic Center Castro area. I think Castro is just like one block that way. And this is Market Street, which is like the main street running diagonally through the city to the ferry building. You can see over here, the mountains up there are Twin Peaks. So it's a nice little walk up there. It's very hilly. But the cool thing I want to tell you about is some San Francisco history, because in 1906, there was a big earthquake, which then caused a big fire, which is like very historical. You may know about it, but a lot of the history around San Francisco, sort of urban fabric, is still visible there. And I want to show you one of my favorite spots that you can see it. So in 1906, as you remember, California was a big gold state. So all the gold rush miners went out, they mined their gold, they bring it back. When they brought it back, it would go to the mint. And so in 1906, the San Francisco Mint had about 30% of the nation's gold in its vaults. And then so everything that was over this way was all like little houses and stuff, little wooden houses. And so the fires were creeping as the whole like city was combusting. And over here is the mint. So the fire was approaching the mint, coming up this way, but the mint didn't burn, it was safe. But the cool thing that you can see is all of the spackling there, like all of the patterns on the brick here. That was because the water that was trapped inside the stone would heat up and boil, and then eventually break off. So all of that scarring that you see on this building is from the 1906 earthquake. And right now the mint isn't a real mint anymore, it's just used as an event space. But I think it's one of the coolest sort of spots that you can see that like history of the city, all in one place. I just want to show you it because I think it's a underappreciated aspect. Okay, that's all. I'm gonna walk back to my friend's apartment now and then play board games.
Cool.
Okay, hello. It is 3 in the morning. I'm going to the airport so I can go back to Oklahoma City. My time in San Francisco was fun. It was nice sort of being with all my friends and everything. And back to the way it was before I left. Yeah, so I still feel weird about it. Sort of like the question, like how do I make sure that I take what I learned from this trip and bring it into my new life whenever I get back here, and not just go back to the way things were before. But that's a challenge for later. For now, I'm just going to go over to the airport. I will see you tomorrow. So, good night.